Galaxy Mint Tea. Here you go, miss. From the man sitting right beside you. It looks nice. Very pretty. I like it. Thank you. I'm glad you do. Oh wow. It looks exactly like what I envisioned. You're a G. I'm happy you both enjoyed it. But man, the whole case earlier though. There's a lot to take in. Also about the whole forgetting thing. That really gave me chills. Why? Don't you feel scared of just disappearing in the end? Because I do. That's why I thought I finally understood you too. I mean, that's the reason why you wanted to become a soprano your way. The traditional way. Oh? Care to compare notes? Because I've yet to be entirely certain about that myself. Oh, huh. Now that's what you call huge pressure. Before that though, can I ask a little teeny tiny question? Go ahead. What inspired you to go down this path? I mean, I may have an idea on why you're choosing the hard way, but why a soprano in the first place? Because it's been done before. Pardon? Because there was already a banshee who did it before, so I know it's not impossible. Whoa, for real? Her part was that of a sorbet aria, and she was not very well known. What is a sorbet aria? Oh, I mean she was a secondary character. Back in the early 19th century opera, sorbet arias would be sung towards the end of the second act, usually before the evening ended. Hawkers would use the time to offer their wares for the last time to the patrons. Often desserts, hence sorbet aria. Ah, I see. Like background singing at the end of a show or something? Yes. Things are different nowadays because people are expected to listen to the end. The first time I heard her voice was on an old recording of a comedy opera. I was still very young back then. She was playing a confused maid role at the very end of the opera, wondering why and how people could act so crazy when in love, and despite her confusion, she thought she wasn't so old that she couldn't find out the reason herself. It was a funny epilogue to the opera, but hearing a banshee sing such a playful and light-hearted piece, it was truly an eye-opener for me. Oh man, I bet it was. Sadly, I couldn't find any of her other works, but it always stuck with me nonetheless. So I left my commune and started trying on my own. That's really cool, and brave of you to do so. I agree. I've never talked about this before. It's a bit embarrassing. Nah, don't be embarrassed. I think it's super cool. You're just feeling inspired to push yourself beyond what's expected of you, and wishing to leave a mark on this world. Is that what you think? You're just trying to follow a path that has been travelled before, and that's not always a bad thing, especially for beings like us. You're just being careful, yet courageous. Right, because the path you're choosing to walk on is still difficult. Regarding leaving your mark, I don't know. I just feel maybe you're the same as me. Like, what's the point of being born if nobody's going to remember us? Right, Reese? No comment. Aww. Why do you want to be remembered so much? Why wouldn't you? Us banshees see the end differently than most. So, care to enlighten me? No, I can't speak for anyone else, but in my case, I was a kid who grew up in a large family, you see? Like, humongously large. Literally couldn't count all my siblings even if I wanted to, because they're everywhere thanks to my dad. Oh. We weren't wealthy though, not even close. The money situation was always suffocating us for real. But sometimes Dad would drop by to give us some money, though it wasn't even enough to cover utilities for more than a couple months. Then he'd just leave it again a couple days later. Are you the eldest? Nope. But my older brothers had already moved out by the time I hit high school. I was so surprised when my dad gave me the house after he died. Oh. Which is where my mom and siblings live now. I'm sorry to hear about your father. No, it's fine. I mean, yeah, it was weird to receive the news of his death from an attorney, knowing he passed away by himself, and how it took them a week to find out. Oh. Natural causes, by the way, so... I mean, how did he check out with absolutely no one knowing? Where were my other siblings? What happened to his ladies? It's just so crazy to me. And I guess it just kinda haunted me. Haunted how? My life growing up was filled with disappointment over him, you know? I mean it in the best way possible. My disappointment actually drove me to work hard for my family. I just vilified him in my mind, like shaking my mental fist at him. Gonna do so much better than you, sir, and all that. I see. But then I received the news that he left me the house. Like, I know he had no money. The house is probably one of the only assets he had left. So when he gave me the house in his will, all I could think about was, what went through his mind exactly? The fact that he had a will at all was probably already a surprise for you. Exactly. What am I supposed to think of that? What am I supposed to think of him? And does it even matter anymore when he's already long gone? Anyway, so my older brothers came back, right? They wanted me to sell the house and divide the earnings. Wanting a slice of the inheritance pie, huh? You didn't do that, right? Heck no. That's why I left for LA. So if they really want me to sell the house, they have to chase after me. Good call. Thankfully, my younger siblings and I are pretty tight. We're a good team. That's a relief. But that was also why I needed money fast. I needed to send money to help with my family's bills. And of course, so I could stay alive as well. That was why I ended up having to join the production house. The production house? Yeah, it was like a bunch of content creators getting together to make videos every day. I was young and naive too, you know? Because it was my first time venturing to another state completely alone after all. So I didn't know better how predatory things could be. Man, this isn't even going to be an entertaining story. If you're uncomfortable, you don't have to talk about it. No, it's not that. I just really didn't like that production house. But I needed the money. Someone there saw my vlogs and invited me in. And as one of the youngest there, I tried to get along with everyone. But you see, we were all creators in the entertainment industry, right? Which means we all had huge egos. So naturally, there was somewhat of a hierarchy of sorts. Trying to be all-around helpful turned me into the butt of the joke, all the time. That didn't discourage me all that much, by the way. I mean, I also learned a lot there, not gonna lie. Still. But what ended up destroying my willpower was actually something real close, you know? Myself. What do you mean by that? Well, in a house where everyone wants to be the main character, each of us would need a solid, distinct persona, yeah? Eventually, I was assigned one too. Which was supposed to be a good thing, but they wanted me to be the worst version of what I am, essentially, with heavy emphasis on what. I had a lot of nicknames too, like, "Hey, baby goat, what are you up to now? Sit, boy. Here comes the party, goatee. Mr. Oh my god, excess. You gonna go fishing again tonight, or what? Fishing? Ugh. We had to go out and try to hit on people. And we weren't allowed to come home unless we failed spectacularly or scored. Ooh. I always tried to be the punchline though. Because there were always more views when something ended badly. But it was still the worst, because I really had to act it all out, you know? Bothering people for pretend dates. Be sort of a dumb jerk just for jokes. Just so all looked fun for the camera. Even if scripted, I never really liked doing it, honestly. Because in the end, all of it just reminded myself of my dad, you know? I kept thinking, does the apple never fall far from the tree after all? Ugh. So yeah, the whole thing just really sucked. You had it difficult. Yeah. Well, long story short, being tokenized sucked. The end. No disagreement there. Sorry, I swear that wasn't what I wanted to talk to you about. It's fine. I actually learned a lot this evening. I just don't want to take up more of your time. So, can I just ask you a direct question? Sure. Great. Would you be interested in guest starring on my new show? I realized I was being dumb the day we first met. I kind of forced my thoughts on you and was just being a general smartass. I undermined your straightforward efforts because I was jealous of your solid resolve. Since everything I did was anything but. But you succeeded eventually, didn't you? And you worked hard for it. Yeah, I almost ended up losing sight of why I'd been doing all this in the first place. I went with the flow, made excuses a lot. All to justify the gain, but to what end? That's why I've been trying to put together a talent showcase for those who need extra exposure. It's going to be a small production thing. It'll be paid, I swear. And not with exposure either. Though it won't be much at first, because I don't have that much money ready to use at the moment, so... wait, this is a bit sudden, don't you think? No pressure though. How does the show work? Well, I'm not 100% sure of the shape of it yet, but ideally it'll have, like, an interview at first, and then I'll record your singing. I'll bring all the gear. It'll be... I will also be doing all the editing and stuff. It's gonna take a bit of time since I still have my main show to do. But I just started my vlogging journey on my own too. So I can bet you the results will still be quality. Your show will tank if I'm the first guest, you realise that, right? If it does, then it doesn't deserve to exist. I don't care about haters, but you do. That's why I won't push you. I'm flattered, but no thank you. Okay. Thanks for considering me though. Thanks for giving it a thought. Looks like I have to go. Okay. There's nothing to do with what you said, okay? Just bad timing. Yeah, I get it. Cool. I hope we can meet again like this. If you want to. Maybe. I'll take it. Thanks for your time too. Sorry if I bored you. No, truly, it was my pleasure. Cool. Okay, I really have to go. See you around? Safe trip. Alrighty, see ya. Come again soon. I think tonight was the most I have talked in the past 2 years, and I'm quite glad to hear that. Thank you. For what? For being such a good host. I know I'm not the easiest to get along with. It's always a pleasure to have you and everyone around. Then I'll be taking my leave. I feel like I have a lot to rethink. But I'll see you again soon. And we'll be waiting. Always. Safe trip, Miss Riona. And have a good night. Hey! That was a long day. Witness the morphing nebula as the lemon is poured into the cup. Magical and refreshing. Phew! I think I'm done for the night. I hope everything will work out for everyone. Yay! Ooh! Wednesday the 27th. So Lunar Cell panel prototype ready for first test. Newcomer progressive elephant metal band Avathor tops US music charts. World Golem Culture Center grand opening to be held in Bhutan. Or Bhutan. Alright, before I actually start with the day, gonna have a look at the... No one knew. Hey! So have you ever heard a story that wows so you try to go for your dreams because you're so inspired to do something or anything? Is fidget spinner really that lame now? I'm taking an easy day because self-care is important. Don't forget to take a good rest. Once in a while too, everyone. Normal schedule. Dinner with my team. I still have a fidget really? Are they actually any good? I've never, like, not really understood them, but it's never really been something I've messed with. I used to have this, like, fidget cube when I was at uni. It just helped when we was in lectures. It would just be something I'd have in my hand and mess with. Only ever used while reading. Fair enough. How's it going, by the way? Hope you're well. Right, so what's this? If Capella ever falls. The star is called Capella, the little goat of Auriga, the charioteer. So she looks up to where I pointed, her neckline a constellation of its own. If the little goat falls off, do you think we'll get a wish? She asked, between yawns. Well, I don't think that's... I don't think that's how falling stars work, but maybe. God, this does not scroll well. I wonder if I bore her at times like this, late on my balcony, the two of us and the stars. I still don't know much about her. It's scary to get to know someone new, an entirely new sky to discover, where all the celestial objects are yet to form a sign. Where's the brightest star of her night? Which constellation does the display proudly in her north sky? What object does she hide between the dark clouds? Hey, I take that as a compliment. My voice is distracting. That's only ever a good thing. How's it going, Mangler? I'm also sorry that you're going through a bit of a writer's block. You'll get there. Or you'll just play a lot of games while you record B-roll, and then you'll get hit with like a light bulb. I'm sure. Is there a place for me in her nights? When I ask that, I know I'm avoiding the real question. Is there a place for her in my nights? I still don't know if I actually am in love with her, or if she's just a slightly above average looking girl who happens to fit my ideal style. A cute girl who's not afraid of wearing her own aesthetic, an unironic, simply gothic, dark academia girl, exactly my type. I'm still figuring out if I want to show her my own night, to reserve one spot by the northern space for her to shine. Am I ready to love, or was I just lonely, and she happened to be there, the empty space beside me? What does she think of me? Do we actually match each other well? Or is it... Or is that just what Tinder says? There's still so much that I don't know about her, and it's scary to think about. Does she like Murakami too? What would she think of me if she knew my playlist is mostly emo songs? How badly was she hurt by her ex-lovers? When does she think we will end? I shiver thinking about it. I hope it's the night's gentle breeze and not my anxiety. She puts her head on my shoulder, signaling me to hold her closer. Maybe it's the night breeze after all. Or perhaps she knows how scared I am to try and let her in. Perhaps she has shown me her galaxies and bits and pieces of her everything. In her goodnight text with those little Japanese smile emojis, the way she speaks to me, the way she puts her head on my chest, as if she trusts me already. Maybe while I'm sitting here scared of loving her, she already has a constellation named after me. I look up to where Auriga shines, her breath feels warm on my chest. I hope I have enough time to learn everything there is to know about her, so one day I'll know everything, every little thing about her, until her sky map is etched into my heart. And if Capella ever falls, I hope that maybe I can use my one wish to replace Capella with a star named after her, and have her stay there in the margin of my starry night. I'm not entirely sure what these are. Fiction planned. Oh, it's just daily short stories. Okay, I thought these were like news articles. The price of happiness. These are long. Oh, that one's not too bad. Alright. The price of happiness. The cashier rang me for $13 for 2 packs of cigarettes I chose from behind the counter. It should be enough to keep me sane for 4 days, if I carefully smoke 10 sticks per day. This sounds like a math equation. I lit one as soon as I left the convenience store. 9 cigarettes left for today. I checked my phone and as I walked to the cafe I usually do my writing at. Spotify just charged me its monthly fee, $10. Seeing that my last rep was 80,000 minutes and more, that was a tenner well spent. I closed the Spotify notification along with some email notifications about the permanent jobs I was hoping to get. All polite rejections. Freelance for a little bit more, so it seemed. I stubbed out my cigarette in the trash can by the cafe's door, before brushing the ashes that managed to claim some spots on my discounted flannel shirt. The cafe was completely empty, except for the clearly uni students struggling over their assignments. People with proper jobs don't work in a cafe after all. They work in tall buildings with ID cards and fancy suits. The kind of people who had their lives figured out, with every expense planned well into their 80s. I sat in the smoking area, a cup of $2 iced coffee stood tall beside my laptop, droplets of condensation playfully racing each other to the table. Some droplets stayed on the brim of the cup, as if planning their way down, finding the smoothest path possible. I cheered for those droplets figuring out their track, not knowing what lies at the bottom of the plastic cup, not knowing if they can even make it there either. And so I began typing. I had to cover this economic research paper by some Nobel Prize winner, about the amount of money you need to make per year to achieve optimal living conditions. It's $70,000 per year, by the way. Or $75,000 per year, by the way. That number for an immigrant who just started chasing the American dream like me was sky high. I do pay a fortune for my beat-up apartment. The monthly cost for the subway alone is above $100. If I count my yearly expenses as responsible adults should, they should reach about that amount, if not more. I wonder if that meant I was living optimally. I mean, I sure as hell was not, but I wondered. Maybe the price of happiness is different for each person. Maybe those Nobel winners didn't count the price of addiction, or depression, or other words society categorized as mental health conditions. Have they accounted for the price of antidepressants and sleeping pills in that $75,000? That is the cost for some people to be able to sleep and function. I was damn sure it wasn't included in that number. Maybe people born with more scars on their bodies have to pay more to be happy, and to think that happy is such a sadly abstract unit of measure. How do you even measure happiness in numbers? In the amount of possessions one has in their bedroom? The number of children you have, and how their upbringing is facilitated by the digits on your bank account, in how many times you smiled in a day? If the last one is how you measure happiness, do fake smiles count? See, too many variables. And I had to present all this bullshit in a 700-word or less article. 700 words or less article. That'd be rewarded with $100 if I got enough clicks. It still hasn't, and probably never will. So do you think this number is the right price for your happiness? Let us know in the comment section. I ended my article on that cheerful note, ignoring the irony of the question itself, just like I ignored my 5th cigarette slowly burning down on the ashtray. Another wasted payment to cover the price of happiness. 5 cigarettes left for today. Well, that one was depressing. Where love is. God, are these... okay. The little scroll bar was glitched, so it looked tiny. It made the story look huge. Where the love is. I often find it scary how he seems to always know what I want. Like this late morning, he took the rest of the leftover coffee in the pot to the kitchen and added some cold milk, ice and caramel syrup to it before bringing it back to the small table we were working at. Yeah, 1 cup of morning coffee, and yet you still look tired, ma'am. I couldn't figure out if it was the perfect amount of syrup he added or the little smile he wore that made the now iced caramel latte so delicious. With him, it's always a bit of both. Thank you, my good sir, just what I and this report needed. One of my favourite things with him has always been when we are jokingly polite to each other. Then again, anything we do together is always a favourite of mine. We come back to our Saturday workload as the day went by. You know, if you weren't at my flat, I'd probably have spent the day just hanging on the couch and watching Netflix. Having your boyfriend call you in silence as we each do our work really boosts your performance, I can tell you. Often I wish I could just bring him to the office to replace my stiff office chair. Wonder what my boss Jolene would say. She'd probably be mad. But I could argue that it really brings out the best in me and would make me less cranky at the job. The increase in work performance has to be worth it. I was still forming the right argument for my theoretical debate with Jolene when he closed his laptop with a long yawn that sounded like satisfaction. Done already? Lucky. Well, I'm not stopping every 5 minutes to daydream, so... He played with my hair as he spoke. I could feel his fingers untangling my morning knots lock by lock. You don't have a boyfriend messing with your hair while you're working, so of course you're done already. Should I leave then? You know I eventually have to go home. No, stay till lunch. As you wish then, milady. He continued stroking my hair gently, sometimes attempting to braid it, before giving up and letting it come undone again. I held back the urge to turn around and just kissed him hard. Damn that report. Maybe having him at the office would be a bad idea. You win, Jolene. We stayed as we were to lunchtime. You know, it's one of those moments where an I love you from him would make the moment perfect. Oh, I think that's meant to be yet. We just sat there without a word. The thing is, he never says those words first. I can't understand why. He's a published poet. and yet somehow doesn't understand the importance of those 3 damned words all girls want to hear. If it weren't for that, he'd be perfect. I know I'm nitpicking here, but still, it'd be nice to hear it from time to time. So, lunch? He let go of his embrace so he could face me. My nose was still buried in my laptop, drowning in numbers and dull sheets. Okay, but let's order in. I'm still not finished. Pizza it is, then. I'm pretty sure you still have some coupons left. Spot on. Both about the food choice and the coupons. Again, it's almost scary when someone really knows you inside out. I'd freak out if it was anyone else, but it's fine when it's him, because, you know, I love him. He stood up and grabbed the phone he had left at the kitchen counter to place the order. Pineapple? He shouted from the kitchen. Of course, what am I, a monster? I could hear him chuckle in the kitchen, followed by the sound of a drawer opening. The exact drawer where I keep all the food coupons. All of me is like second nature to him. You know what, maybe it's fine if he doesn't say I love you all that much. His readers might read his love poems and swoon over the moon because of his words, but I know it's me he's writing about. I know it's me whom he loves. It's me he understands like no one does. After all, he knows where the caramel syrup and the pizza coupons are. I know where the love is. The Devil and My Eternity. What the hell is this? Oh, it's a short one. Strawberry hair. What the hell? That was cute. The Devil in My Eternity. The devil says to me, the price of my kiss is your eternity. The devil has the warmest smiles. She taunts me with her fingertips of ember, of ashes burning in something I too will remember. I still am spending my eternity aimless in concrete jungle through history fruitless. Hazy and dead people's memory useless. An endless life wasting as nobody. A vampire has the coldest lips. Not for me, not if I want it too. The devil has the brightest eyes, sweet as angels convincing themselves to be holy. I'm still clinging to my entirety. I wonder why we stay alive, that desire to keep going, that desperate longing to be someone, someday. Promise you'll never leave me. I strike a match to burn my lips. I will be the death of you. The devil has the sweetest lies. Strawberry hair. I've also just realised these are all written by the same person. Rahalia Ormot. Put my heart on your charm bracelet, wear it on your sleeve, so anytime, anywhere, you can always count on my heartbeat. Unlock my phone with your fingertips, leave your fingerprints on mine. Hit my power button off, keep me away from the world. Just the two of us remind me to press the enter key twice, to put some space in my poem, so you can have enough room to dance between my words. We don't need a grand ballroom for our chests to collide. You said, my kitchen is big enough to let Beethoven fill the room with fair release. The melody he composed for Lady Therese, so Therese can play his feelings simply but still prettily. Like your nightgown fluttering as we spin, like your upside down frown as we let our touching skin. Speak of our innocence, you can keep your glass slippers to yourself. There's no need for a fairy godmother in our story. You don't have to leave after 12, we'll dance barefoot on my kitchen tiles. Or on the grass of your childhood park if you want to, like Ed Sheeran, our own perfect. We'll catch our breaths on the park bench. When you're too tired, rest your head on my lap, run my fingers through your hair. Let them pick that strawberry scent. Then down to your blushing cheek to paint your nickname, Strawberry Hair. But only if you let me do all that. If you don't, I'd settle with your strawberry taste in my memory. I'll keep it in my breast pocket, so if you ever leave, I know which jacket I should stop wearing. So strawberry can still taste like a sweet thing for me, but let's not think about either of us leaving, shall we? Whatever will happen, right now you are my strawberry taste, my one and only race where my ego doesn't mind losing. Right now you are forever my safe place. You can have my promise that I will always be your safe place. I did say that to many girls before, so it's an empty shack, but you can try to reside there, and if you like it, you can stay. You already got the key anyway, even before I gave it to you. If you like me, if you like me, ask me to make it your retirement home. If you do, I'll build you a pier so you can rest your ship ashore, with a lighthouse, so I can light your way in case you want to set sail again. That being said, Strawberry Hair, I'm hoping you've had enough sails already, and are finally ready to settle in. It really is. I like all the short stories are nice. Happiness, like a cup of coffee. Hey, this might not help, but do you want to listen to me for a little bit? I want to tell you what happiness is like to me. To me, and maybe it is only me, I see happiness like a cup of coffee. It makes you feel good, energized, ready to take on the world. But that's not the point I want to make. It's about how many different kinds of coffee there are in the world, and how many different ways of making a cup of coffee. You still with me? Okay, so, there are so many kinds of coffee, you know? And I'm not even talking about the type of beans and whatnot. You know, there are coffees you can get in a convenience store, in convenient cans. Pop it and you're good to go. There are also coffees that are more special, made with more care. The ones made in cafes by cute baristas with their pretty smiles. There are even more special coffees, the ones you only find in certain places, in certain circumstances. The ones you know you can only taste once in your life, yet you wish you could have it forever. But that's not how life goes, right? There is happiness you know you'll part with, happiness you'll never get to taste again. But that's the thing. You shouldn't cry over a cup of coffee. You're supposed to remember the taste fondly, hoping someday you can have something just like that. Something better even. You'll live your life in search of that better taste of coffee. Once you do, you'll realize that there are thousands and thousands of coffees in this world, with a thousand ways of brewing them. See? That is how I see happiness. But hey, since you're still here, want in on a secret? It may take many tries before you get it right, and you might lose many things until you achieve it. But in my opinion, the best coffee in the world, the best happiness we can have, is the one we make ourselves. Yeah! 7th of July, by the Magpie Bridge. She looked so pretty in her rented hemp-patterned yukata. It's such a shame that it was raining tonight. I wondered if the renting place would charge more if we were to return the clothing somewhat damp. I felt bad for insisting we dressed the traditional way for the... is that Tanabata festival? That mundane thought immediately went away when I saw her, looking as if she came straight out of Makoto Shinkai movies. It was all worth it. If they charged extra, I'd shove my life savings at the lady who owned the renting place. She looked like dreams, and it was worth it. Her with a yukata and umbrella, and my heart and all. Too bad that Altair and Vega couldn't meet tonight with all this rain, Hi, remember the story? Good. Me, I do listen to your astrology stories, you know. Astronomy, but thank you for being there for my stories, my lady. Under our transparent convenience store umbrella, we shared whatever lovers share under the rain in their own world. The shrine we went to was unexpectedly full, despite being a bit tainted by the rain and the puddles it creates. We had to line up in a small queue for our wishes, but that stretch of time was easily filled with small talk, as lovers like to have. She hid her paper when I tried to peek at her wishes, cute, as if she wasn't not going to ask me to hang it on the highest spot of the bamboo tree. Hey, next year can we come here again? We were on our walk back to our hotel when she began. Her voice was a bit too soft, sunk under the noise of the rain made. I'd be thrilled. But don't you want to use your long vacations to go somewhere else you haven't been? Nah, I like it here. Here, the moon looks so pretty. Really? It's raining though, I can't even see the moon. Silly boy, her grin prettier than all the full moons I've ever seen in my life. We took our time to walk home slowly, through the night street, just the two of us. But you know, I'm happy that you think we can still travel the world. That we're still us. I know I shouldn't say something like that, but it felt like my insecurities got the better of me. Aw, pretty boy, talking about rain on the parade, huh? Sorry, couldn't help it. What if it rains again next year? What if we're not all sunshine and rainbow?